Here we are.
Here we are, indeed.
Here we are. Here we are. I was on, I don't know if the podcast is out yet, but I was on Tom Haberstroh's podcast with Amin, the basketball Illuminati. But it's always funny to me, like, to go on a national podcast as a Sixers guy. Like, it just seems like everything you say is so illuminating. As to when you're just a Sixers guy on a Sixers podcast, everybody knows everything that you're saying. Does that make any sense? Like when you go on a national podcast, we only talk about one team, you just feel like such a specialist. I always feel so smart when I go on a national podcast.
Sure.
You know? And it's so thoughtful. They're like, wow, I hadn't thought of that. It's like, this is all I think of. So,
yeah. No, I feel that.
Yeah.
I understand. How'd it go?
It was good. It was good. Yeah. It was good. They, at the end, the very last question, they're like, so did you have any theories about who the leak was in the Embiid article? And I was like, I've been saying Eric Gordon. And they're like, is there anything in the article that made you think more or less? I was like, well, after reading it, pretty sure it's Eric Gordon. It's him or Yabusele. It's not Yabusele. So,
well, I guess Lowry would be.
Oh, right. Yeah, I guess he could have been the one too. But
yeah.
Yeah, they were laughing. They thought it was also Eric Gordon. Of course, Eric Gordon on the internet being like, it's definitely not me. It's like, oh,
it's not his rep.
It's not his rep.
It isn't his rep.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it could have been like not a player, right?
He said free agency was starting, so he didn't know.
I mean,
it's a weird line.
Is there a world where it's like Eric Gordon told an assistant coach or something, and that person then told somebody, and so he's like, I didn't leak it.
Yeah.
To the press.
I just leaked it to somebody else. Yeah.
Sure.
Maybe it's not Eric Gordon.
But I do think like, yeah, who knows? But I do think that the question that I asked Totun about, which is like, is he's focusing on the leak, which happens in all avenues of things, where it's like the leaking of the information becomes the bigger deal than like what the information is.
Yeah.
Which is that like Maxey confronted Joel for like bringing morale down and obviously all the lateness and, you know,
I mean, that the fact that that's what he was focusing on is like almost like a metaphor for all of it, you know? For sure. All right, let's go. On the show today, it's August. I know you're looking at your calendar. You're like, it's July 23rd. No. I did the rundown today. I'll tell you one thing. It's fucking August. On the show today, we talk about Mike O'Connor's recent article, writes to RickySanchez.com, about the Sixers offseason. Get into some relationship advice. As I remind you, it's August. And we will determine, or I'm curious about Mike's opinion here, as we are in 2025, the top 5 Sixers of the last 25 years, whether Ben Simmons gets to be on the list or not. The Rights Ricky Sanchez podcast is presented by Draftkings Sportsbook. Sign up for Draftkings Sportsbook by using promo code RTRS, and brought to you by Adam Ksebe, the official realtor of the process, 302-864-8643. Ethos Support. Your customer support should not suck. If it does, go fix it at ethossupport.com/Ricky. And Barker Therapeutic Dog Beds. Get yours at barkerbeds.com/Ricky, as well as Surfside Iced Tea and Vodka, the official canned cocktail of the Rights Ricky Sanchez podcast. A very happy birthday to Mark from B. Now, it is Mark's 30th birthday. So young. You remember those days, Mike, being 30?
I think 27 to 39 is the same age.
Same age.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm there. Me and Mark are the same age.
Yeah. So happy birthday, Mark. You're the same age as you were yesterday. B says a bit about Mark. He's a diehard 76ers fan, incredibly loyal. He is Australian and they live in Australia. He is a team player on and off the court, listens to podcasts 24/7, even in the shower and while he's sleeping. He is a very involved dad to our beautiful 1-year-old daughter. B actually reached out way early. Normally this is like when the loved one reaches out, it's like a day before and they haven't gotten anything. And they're like, I know what I'll do. Writes Ricky. But B reached out a while ago. So happy birthday, Mark. B loves you very, very much. And so do we.
Keep in mind, this does cost $100 every time you wish you or your loved one a happy birthday.
Yeah, Venmo. Venmo's fine.
Pay up.
Surfside iced tea and vodka. As we are recording right now, Philly's hitting dingers all over the place, and I bet you Citizens Bank Park is full of Surfside iced tea and vodka. Summertime. Oh my God! Is there a better time for a Surfside? I don't think so.
That'd be a good name for Surfside, like a special sort of like the Dinger can or something like that. Like they have a specific
Dinger flavor
design.
Yeah,
something like that.
Yes, looks like a baseball with the Surfside logo, whatever. Yeah,
or something.
Call us Surfside, we'll do it for you. Look, it is only 100 calories. It's only 2 grams of sugar. They taste great. That's why everybody drinks them all the time. All the different flavors. Get them wherever you get your canned cocktails, or go to drinksurfside.com. Remember, you got to be 21 to drink it. Please enjoy it responsibly. Without any further ado, Amos and the chef.
We were right, y'all. We were right. Even when it went wrong, we were right. We was right, y'all. We were right. So say the name. Say the name. We were right, y'all. We were right. Even when it went wrong, we were right. We were right, y'all. We were right. So say the name. Say the name. Say the name.
Welcome to the Rights Ricky Sanchez podcast. I'm Spike Eskin, along with the guy whose secret job isn't secret anymore. That is one Mike Levin.
Here we go. All right, announcement.
Yes.
Mike
is becoming a chef.
What'd you say?
I said you're becoming a chef.
Yeah, big chef.
Yep.
Well, sous chef.
Yep.
I was writing on the spinoff of The Office, which is coming out September 4th. The Office spinoff is called The Paper.
Okay.
It's going to be on Peacock and then probably NBC at some point. That was the show I was working on all last year when I had to really race through the Sixers-Knicks series.
Yes.
After the room ended and I was in that dark place, which was the screening room. It was cool. It was quite an experience. Donald Gleason is the lead.
Who's that?
Donald Gleason, he's an Irish fellow. You've seen him in stuff. Ex Machina.
Oh, yes. Yeah. He's great. He was in
Star Wars.
He was also in an episode of Black Mirror.
And an episode of Black Mirror, which is very well known. He's great. A delight. Sabrina Impacciatore from season 2 of White Lotus, the Italian season, the Italian hotel manager. She is incredibly funny. And then Oscar from the original show is coming back. There's some things announced, but just look it up. The Paper, The Office spinoff. And if we fucked it up, if I fucked it up, then just blame the Sixers.
Yes.
You can just blame the Sixers for.
And the thing about it is, there's so many writers. Like, you don't know if you fucked it up. If it's bad, it could have been somebody else fucking up. You could have done all the good parts.
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
That's how it works.
Well, we'll just have to find out.
Yeah.
But yeah, September 4th on Peacock. Patrick and I wrote episode 3. But as I've said on this podcast before, when you're on a writing staff, especially a comedy room, everybody writes everything. So episode 3 was the one that we were most closely there with. But everybody was involved in all of them. So,
well, congratulations.
Exciting to finally say it. Is there anything else I have to announce? No. There's other really good actors on there. A bunch of folks I like a lot. And it's coming out soon. And then theoretically season 2 would start soon as well. So we'll see. Luckily, the Sixers weren't good enough this past season to get in the way of anything. So that was nice of them. But now we're back. We're going to be back soon. So The Office, The Paper, September 4th, Peacock.
Well, The Office has pretty much become like the show of record for like the last 20 years. Like I remember, I think about my wife, and we first started dating. She was a Friends person, right? So like she knew every episode, and like her default programming was just Friends. And then now in our relationship, her default programming is like the same way that I'll just put on like like a baseball game in the background, she will just put on The Office in the background.
Sure.
And those, so to work on the spinoff of that particular show, that's a big opportunity, right?
Yeah, it was crazy. Thank you.
Yeah.
It was a wild story of how we got on the show, but we didn't know we had gotten hired for a mini room, and the night before the mini room started.
What is that? Could you explain what that is?
So mini room is like a development room. It's like a show that it doesn't happen as much in comedy, but it happened for The Office, I think, because of its high stature, let's say. Usually it's for like streaming places or cable places will have a mini room where it's like, we'll pay for a small writer's room to like break the season, maybe write a couple episodes or at least outline a couple episodes, and then once we see more of that, then we will decide if we're going to actually pick the show up to series and actually produce it.
Got it.
So this was like a 10-week like little small thing that we knew was going to go, but it was like at least less pressure of like casting isn't starting like right now, you know? Mm-hmm. And so the night before the 10-week mini room started, it was like, okay, the script is going to get emailed to you for the pilot, which was already written. And I won't spoil what I saw because I don't think I'm allowed to. But on page 1, it was like, "Oh, this is The Office."
Oh, so
I didn't know that.
You didn't know?
No,
right.
no. We met with Greg Daniels, who created the American version, and this other guy who co-created with him, Michael Coleman. And we just knew it was like a new show, set in the world of journalism, and then I read the script like the night before the room started, and I was like, "Oh, we're gonna be on The Office. What a weird thing. What a crazy thing." So
that. Do you mind if I ask you one more question?
Sure. Yeah. Why not? It's August.
listening
Nobody's listening to this anyway.
Yes, they are. You always do that.
Well, it's
everybody
August.
Everybody listens. Everybody
There's
listens.
people that take summer vacation, and
Right.
they're allowed to.
Okay. Well, and that's why we can podcast about whatever we want to in August.
That's true.
To be honest with you. So spinoff of The Office is the only, I don't know if you're allowed to say this or not, is the only original Office character Oscar. Is that like where the spinoff is? So it's Oscar after working at the paper company.
Yeah, 10 years later. Yeah.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. So he is one of the main cast of the new Office that the same documentary crew, I'm doing quotes, is following in Toledo, Ohio.
It's funny with The Office in syndication and seeing the episodes like sort of mixed up or whatever, but just seeing like how awful. Like Michael Scott is like the guy who I feel like changed the most.
Because season 1 to season 2 changed a lot. Yeah,
he's like awful in that first. I mean, he's great. The character's great, but they certainly make him more likable as that show goes on.
Yeah, so. For sure. Definitely a recalibration. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see if we do something like that in this season. I don't know. Looking forward to finding out.
You got to recalibrate something or not?
I don't know.
What do you got?
I don't know.
Like,
I guess we'll find out.
Think about these things, you know?
Maybe recalibrate my ass into getting fired.
Yes.
We'll see.
You never know.
You never know.
Well, actually, before we get to the Sixers, the Rice to Ricky Sanchez podcast
there it
is brought to you by Adam Ksebe, the official realtor of the Process. So
the official realtor of my job announcement.
Yes. Congratulations, Adam Ksebe. You are the official realtor of Mike's job announcement.
Yes.
I was in Delaware last week in Lewis and thought to myself, what a mistake I have made by not having my own place. To be honest with you, to spend like $3,000 for this tiny little shithole for a week, So the move is you go to Ksebe, if you can afford it, of course. You go to Ksebe and you work with him to buy a house. And the reason you want Delaware over Jersey, first of all, another thing, aside from the property taxes being much lower, but the restaurants at Delaware beaches like Rehoboth, Lewis, Bethany, way better than Jersey Shore. Jersey Shore has two kinds of restaurants, the seafood restaurant and the Italian restaurant. That's it. Delaware, way better. But you might think, well, it's hard to get a house there now. it's so competitive, yada, yada, yada. Because this is what Ksebe does. Works out along with Foster and Bethany Beach. He is the king of the Delaware beaches. He will be able to help you find a place, will help you bid, will tell you, hey, you want to look here, you don't want to look there. He can be your partner to get a beach house in Delaware. And then what happens is you rent it out for most of the summer. Those people are paying your mortgage. You go down the 2-3 weeks you want to go down, maybe use it as a retreat during the fall or the winter. Man, oh man, investment, and you have your own place to go to. If you would like to do that, 302-864-8643. You cannot use anyone but Adam. Call or text him, 302-864-8643. By the way, if you want to buy or sell a house in somewhere other than Delaware or Maryland, Adam can't specifically do it for you, but what he can do is be your first resource. He has realtors everywhere, so he will find the exact right one for you. Email adam@processrealtor.com. Adam Ksebe, Ksebe, the official realtor of The Process. By the way, Ksebe advertising on WIP now too, which is fucking hilarious.
That's wild.
Yeah, I always say, I'm like, Adam Ksebe, official realtor of the rights, Ricky Sanchez. Feels wild to say on WIP all the time, but yeah, Kasebe's on IP. Good for him. So Mike O'Connor, I believe I've had this debate back and forth with Mike on text before. Mm-hmm. So I wrote an article at rightstoRickySanchez.com. By the way, you can subscribe for free. Just go to rightstoRickySanchez.com/subscribe. And essentially, the title was something like, is that just it for the Sixers offseason? Yeah. So let me read just a couple of quick passages that I think sum up the entire thing. I expected the Sixers to be pretty quiet this summer, but this is a step shy of what I thought they would do. While I approve of the Edgecombe pick and I like some of their moves around the edges, I think it's worth discussing the fact that yet another offseason has come and gone without the Sixers, A, adequately addressing their biggest needs, or B, making a marginal trade that helps their future outlook in some way. The Sixers, in fact, have not made a single trade this offseason. They're obviously limited to a considerable degree by Quentin Grimes' restricted free agency, but I can't help but notice that they once again sat back as other teams took advantage of the opportunity to add cheap young talent on buy low situations that the Sixers could have theoretically jumped in on. Cam Whitmore and Jay Huff were traded for peanuts this summer, and both would have filled a need to varying degrees for the Sixers. One of my repeated criticisms of Daryl Morey throughout his tenure has been that most of his wins have come through simply making the obviously correct decision that any competent general manager would make, and that there's been a real absence of stringing together marginal wins that sneakily set up the team well for the future. This summer was no exception. So, I guess I kind of think this is unfair. I think, what we do sometimes is we do the thing like the Jay Huff thing. Whatever. And I almost feel like if we got Jay Huff and somebody signed Trendon Watford, we would just write an article saying, we traded a second for Jay Huff and Trendon Watford was right there that you could have signed.
That's fair.
And the other thing, and I understand Mike's point overall, but the other thing is I do think they have, I think saying drafting McCain and Maxey, and people say with Maxey all the time is this obvious decision that was sitting right there for them, ignores the fact that these guys were taken 16 and 21. And if it was so obvious, Maxey would probably be third or fourth in a redraft of that. Yeah. McCain would probably be the same. Those are enormous wins. The Justin Edwards is a win. Yabusele, even though we lost him, is an edge move. That is a win. The Trendon Watford, Walker, Barlow, this is all, I think, what he is talking about. I just wonder if the overall frustration with the situation doesn't seep into this sort of opinion that I feel like people have when they're saying he should get creative or something.
Well, I think it's totally fair. I have a lot of points to make. One, I do think the Maxey, he should have. That was an obvious pick. McCain, I think, was the astute pick of he was so much better last year than most people gave him credit for. Maxey, it was always a surprise that he fell as far as he did, and he was so highly rated coming into Kentucky. I think I had him 7th on my board, Maxey, at the time when he got him at 21. I think most people were yeah, that guy's available. Great. Just take him and figure it out. The interesting thing is I definitely think you're right to say that the overall distaste with what's going on with the Sixers makes everything feel worse, and there's kind of nothing they could do. I do think there's a tendency with the Sixers, with following any team at all, and maybe even just being a person in the world, not to get too deep, but comparing yourself to, not just comparing the Sixers offseason to one other offseason, but comparing them to the totality of good moves that other teams are making. Like you're listing you list 7 good moves. Why couldn't they make some of those? And it's like, well, those are all 7 different teams made those moves or whatever.
Right.
And I do think Trendon Watford is a good move that I'm excited about. And I think had they traded for Jay Huff and that was it, then it would have been like they could have just had him for free, whatever. I think that there's another MOC segment that I had screenshotted whenever he wrote it a week ago, and not even knowing we were bringing this up. So I'm going to read this MOC piece.
Sure.
The cycle of rarely taking buy low chances on young players or establishing cheap depth at key positions and then panicking and overpaying washed veterans has plagued the Sixers for, frankly, the entire Embiid era. It just frustrates me to no end that the Sixers are never the team trading for the J Huffs of the world. They are, in fact, the team that gives away players like Isaiah Joe and then wonders 2 years later why they have no shooting off the bench and proceeds to trade for Buddy Hield and then give a 2-year deal to Eric Gordon. I think a lot of the problems with this offseason were problems with last offseason.
Right. The 2-year deals for Drummond and Gordon, or the options for Drummond.
The options for Eric Gordon, the option for Andre Drummond, having to trade KJ Martin because you gave him a fat salary that you were everyone was talking about how genius it was.
That was smart, though.
Well, it's smart if it's smart if it works, then then you have
if the team had been good, it might have worked
for sure. But you have to run the risk of the fact that the team wasn't good, and so you're like, okay, so the team's not good. So what we have to do is trade this contract along with 2nd-round picks to duck the tax. It just, you don't get to say it didn't work, so we had to do it. But that doesn't make me feel better. You know what I mean? Last offseason was a monumental failure because of Joel's lack of health and Paul George's also lack of health and just being generally pretty bad offensively, having the worst offensive season of his career. The issue with the team generally, I think, and quibbling with Sixers moves as MOC is, and as I have pretty regularly, is when Joel was healthy in his career, or more healthy, let's say, for those 7 years, the team constantly failed him on the margins. And this transcends, there's multiple front offices, multiple coaching staffs. Everybody failed him in different ways. Backup center, nobody on the team can throw an entry pass. A guard that can get in the lane, that kind of thing. So then now the last couple of years, when you do have these successes, drafting McCain and him being very good as soon as he got playing time, Yabusele at the minimum, then it happens that Joel and Paul George fail so spectacularly that those small wins don't matter. Those small wins aren't enough. It's just frustrating. It's just been a frustrating time, I think. The all the failures and the inability to build around Joel when he was more himself. Last season was an anomaly in how bad and unavailable he was. But those failures in the past still linger. And I would say that and they're short 2nd-round picks from those failures. So there's been fewer opportunities to, cash in on moves that A, work, or B, pick 2nd-rounders that last here. Waiving Isaiah Joe and then him being in the rotation for the team that won the championship. Obviously, he didn't play a ton in the finals, but he was a useful player during the regular season for that team. And we signed Eric Gordon to a 2-year deal. That's rough. I know Daryl has reasons, and he's I had to because he would have blah, 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 and isn't it good that I drafted him at all? Just those just seem like excuses.
Well, but yes, they're not the only team that makes moves to duck the tax. Most of the league does that as well, and we can complain about it for sure. But
totally, it's the idea of so many things haven't worked.
Yes.
So many backup centers failed. So many trade deadline acquisitions disappointed in years that they were trying to contend. And I think since Daryl's gotten here, there hasn't been that signature move, that signature trade that shows us, hey, we have a smarter and more forward-thinking front office than some other team. We can take advantage of some other team. I think the Maxey draft pick, I think the McCain draft pick, a couple decent seconds here and there.
Grimes trade.
The Grimes trade was nice, although it happened in a dead season.
Well, let me throw this out there just for now that I'm in full apologist mode.
Sure.
I think one of the reasons they were able to make the Grimes trade happen is that when you're okay with losing, it's so much easier to make a great trade.
Yes.
And like the position that they've been in previous years, it feels like Daryl's entire time here, and some of this his own creation, some of it not. He has been like under some sort of duress from the get here. It's COVID, Doc Rivers duress to the Ben Simmons duress, immediately to the James Harden duress.
Some of it self-inflicted.
Some of it, yeah, but like I think the Harden thing went worse than one would have expected, but that's his. He's got to own it. So it's a lot harder to make those trades at that time. And I think one of the reasons Hinkie was able to make so many good trades is because
of course
they were okay with losing.
And the last thing I'll say, I said this either to you or to Zoe on the podcast, but like the Sixers since Embiid's first healthy season have been all in.
Yes.
Over and over again, they've been all in. There has not been the like take a breath, step back year, move some stuff around, and that's why I was so frustrated. I mean, it's minimal. It's not the biggest thing in the world, but it's why I was so frustrated by why they didn't trade Yabusele and then they lost him. That to me is to not get anything for Yabusele in a year that should have been recoup some assets year. Really, they got lucky that Dallas thought that Caleb Martin was better than Quentin Grimes.
Yes.
That's very, very fortunate. And that's good. That's the move I'm talking about. I like it. I'm happy with it. They got a second round pick for that also. But like there was more meat on the bone, and it was trading Yabusele for something. And if you could afford him this offseason, then go sign him back. But you couldn't, and you got nothing for him, and he wasted away here on a dead season. So I thought that was just a missed opportunity. But yeah.
The Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast brought to you by Barker Therapeutic Dog Beds. You have a dog, don't be a fucking idiot. Get yourself, your dog, a good bed so your dog is happy and healthy instead of miserable. As a dog parent, your job, give that dog a good life. And by giving that dog a good life, you have to keep that dog healthy. One way you can keep that dog healthy is Barker Therapeutic Dog Beds. Go to barkerbeds.com/Ricky. barkerbeds.com/Ricky. You go there. I'll tell you about the bed in a second. You're going to get Process Pup patches. You're going to get stickers. You're going to send us a picture. We'll put them up on Instagram, official Process Pup. But what you're going to get is the first bed engineered by experts to keep your dog happier and healthier by giving them a real mattress that supports their joints. So as they get older and their joints get creakier, happens to us, happens to them, those effects of arthritis will be lessened because your dog is sleeping on a proper mattress, just like if you are sleeping on a proper mattress. Penn Vet did a study, showed improvement in joint function with the Barker dog bed, reduction in pain severity, reduction in joint stiffness, improvement in gait, all those sorts of things. If you've ever seen Rebel's been sleeping on a Barker for most of his life. He's 11. He runs around like a lunatic. Fucking lunatic. And I think part of that is definitely because of Barker dog beds. Your dog can't shop online himself. You have to do it. Get them the only bed that's going to keep them healthier. It also looks great. Comes in all different sizes, from the tiny Barker Jr. to the XL, all different colors, all different configurations, with the headrest, without the headrest. One for in a what's it called? The cage, the crate. One in the crate. I had the travel one. BarkerBeds.com/Ricky. 10-year warranty. The foam doesn't flatten, or they replace it for free. It's handmade in the USA. Barker dog beds. Okay. As it is, what's it called? August. Let's do just a little bit of relationship advice. Oh, yeah. Liza Hardy-Jones, currently of War on Drugs, initially of The Ricky. We get this email from Mark. Hey, Spike, Mike, and CJ. I was hoping to get some relationship advice. There's this girl I've been friends with for about 2 years. We met through a few mutual friends. We also have a bit of a history. In 2023, we went on a couple of dates and had an on and off thing for a while. Eventually, she started to see someone else. During that time, while I was disappointed it wasn't... Whoa! Hello! Hello, Eliza. That's on me. Sorry. During that time, while I was disappointed it wasn't me, we became closer friends, hanging out all the time, often one-on-one. I'm sure the person she was dating loved that. At the beginning of 2024, I moved to Harrisburg for a new job. In February, she came to visit me at my new apartment and ended up spending the night. We ended up making out during that visit while still having that boyfriend. Things got a little rocky afterward, but by March, everything felt back to normal. In August, I was coming back from work when she invited me to meet up with her and a few friends. But when I arrived, she sent me to a different bar and never showed up.
Sent me to a different bar.
Yeah. After that, we stopped talking until earlier this year after moving back to Delco. She recently broke up with her boyfriend, and suddenly it feels like things are back to how they were in the early days. Just the other day, another guy sent her flowers, and she texted me saying, "This reminds me of something you would do." Some of our mutual friends have been saying that she might be in love with me. On Friday, for my birthday, she showed up in a nice red dress while everyone else was dressed casually in jeans and t-shirts. She was also flirting with some of my friends right in front of me, almost like she was trying to get my attention. So here's my question to you. Should I try to talk to her about what we are, or should we just keep things business as usual?
Messy.
Really messy.
I like she showed up in a red dress. Everyone else was in jeans.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's like,
boys
you
are
know,
fun.
When you read this, you can hear him trying to talk us into it.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you know what I'm saying?
For sure, yeah.
Look, man. I don't know.
I think this is not a serious relationship.
No.
Anybody else wants to? You guys want to fool around? Seems kosher at this point.
Yep.
Wasn't before.
Yep.
But this doesn't seem with something with a future.
No. And honestly,
but whatever.
I think if you got into a relationship with her, you would always be worried about her. Like, it doesn't feel like there is a solid base of trust here. And by the way, as soon as
I'm sure there's a perspective on her end of stuff our friend Mark has.
I'm not attacking her, Mike.
I'm just saying, like, he's like, she did this, and she's even doing this.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, it seems like you don't really want to. You're not sure.
Well, no, yes. I think as soon as I saw we broke up, she got a new boyfriend, and we were hanging a lot one-on-one, I'm like, nope. Absolutely
Dicey.
not. Yeah. No. I would just say no. I would no. I would not. That would be my advice to you. And the question, should I talk to her about what we are or try to keep things business as usual? I would actually not even keep them business as usual. You can do whatever you want, but like, you don't have to like shun her or anything. No, but business as usual sounds like you're going to fucking drive yourself crazy. To me,
probably. But if you guys want to try a casual thing, you try a casual thing. To me, this is not.
No,
I don't think you two are good for each other.
Nope,
my friend.
Even in the red dress, when everyone else is wearing jeans,
you can make jeans look nice. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, dark jeans, pair of dark jeans, button down. My Sixers question: if we didn't trade Mikal Bridges on draft night, do you think we would have traded him in the Tobias deal? No. Very interesting question.
No.
You don't think so?
No. I think if they got, Mikal was good right away.
Yeah.
I think they would have maybe not even traded for Tobias. I don't think.
You think?
He played 30 minutes a night as a rookie. Obviously got better since then, but I think it was like, oh, this guy is like he's going to be a legitimate 3-and-D, like already very good right away defensively. I would assume that had they kept McHale, that they do not make the Tobias trade.
McHale is an interesting player because I do think for a while there he became a little overrated.
Sure.
But he is a helpful player that can help on basically any team.
Yeah.
You know? So I wasn't here for it, and because I was away on vacation. But the radio station, as it's summer, there's not a lot to do, did like a quarter century teams for like the Phillies and the Eagles and the Sixers and the Flyers. Mm-hmm. And the Sixers is a conundrum because you realize there's not a lot of really good players who have played very many years for the Sixers in the last 25 years.
Well, there's also fewer relevant players on the team than in football or baseball.
Well, not in baseball. There's fewer relevant players. Yeah, you think so? Yeah, I guess so.
Between starters, relievers, and
sure,
I think so.
So, if we think of the Sixers from 2000 to 2025, and we were to say the 5 best players, we don't even have to rank them. We can rank them second. Obviously, Iverson is on the list. Obviously, Embiid is on the list.
Yeah.
Past that, Iguodala?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
Maxey?
I think so.
Okay. So then you get to slot 5.
And then it becomes about longevity versus peak.
And whether you want to put Ben Simmons on the list.
I mean, I think the answer is probably yeah.
See, for me, I couldn't stomach putting Ben Simmons on the list. But then when you don't, you have to put Thaddeus Young on the list.
No, you can't put that on the list.
Okay, who?
I mean, you would be like, as far as peak goes, you'd be like Jimmy or James Harden.
Hold on. Jimmy was there for a half a year.
I know, but Thaddeus Young was the 4th best player in a completely irrelevant time for the Sixers.
Played for 8 years on the Sixers or something? Drew was only 4 years.
I would rather. Thad is so low on the list for me. Nice player, good guy.
You can't put Harden on the list.
I'd put Tobias on the list over Thad.
Oh, that's crazy.
And it's not close, I don't think, actually.
Absolutely not. I would take that in a million
Those Sixers
years
teams were so pointless. They were so pointless and irrelevant. Thad was here for 7 years. I mean, he was so fine. He was so perfectly fine. Like if he's a top 5 Sixer of the last 25 years, fold the franchise. Fold it. End it, man. Nothing against that. Love that. Love that. Yeah. Enjoyed him. There was a time before in that Orlando series when he was a rookie. He was really popping in the playoffs, then he gets hurt.
Yep.
And then he came back and he never kind of like showed that flickers of upside again. He had a couple good seasons, sure. But
should have dunked more than he did, but
couldn't really shoot, was an okay defender, couldn't really handle, was just completely fine. Cannot be a top 5 Sixer the last 25 years. I can't live with that. We've been doing this podcast for half of that time. I can't live with it. I cannot live with the idea that Thaddeus Young has been a top 5 Sixer the last 25 years. No.
How would
Can't do it.
I know you hate doing this, but if you were to rank them, how would you rank them?
Iverson and Embiid, you can be a toss-up. Iverson got to the finals in one crazy year. I would say the worst finals team of all time.
Embiid better player, but Iverson far more accomplished.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean Iverson more games for sure. I mean, I guess 25 years maybe it's a little closer, but I'd probably say Embiid, Iverson, because Iverson was never the best player in the league. Embiid had a case for a little bit.
They both won one MVP.
Right, but no one ever thought that he was the best player in the league when he won MVP.
Yeah. Now Iverson more influential for whatever that matters. Yeah. You know, people.
I'd probably say Embiid, Iverson. I'd probably say Maxey then Iguodala. Iguodala's looked at more fondly because of what he did with Golden State afterwards and Denver, and became such a incredibly superstar role player. But him here, he was
one All-Star team, right? Wasn't he the 4th alternate that year or something? Yeah.
He was very miscast, as we all know.
Yeah.
And then who would I Simmons, dude. It's Ben. I'm sorry. I don't want it to be. I'm not thrilled with it, but he had.
I'm insulted.
For sure. He had 4 very, very good regular seasons here. In his 4 years, 16, 8-8. Like, they were good when he was here. Contributed to winning. Completely frustrating player. Stopped going to the rim whatsoever. Only wanted to drive and kick.
Worst draft pick they ever made.
Well, that's not true.
It is.
That's certainly not true.
Their commitment to his bullshit.
Well, that's not the draft pick, though. The commitment is different, but that's not the draft pick.
But if they hadn't picked him, they would have been committed to him.
No, come on. You don't actually believe that.
I do. I'm not saying he's the worst player.
Right, but as an argument, as an argument, you can't. The pick was right. That's just, you don't believe that. I don't believe that you believe that. I don't believe that you believe that. That it was the right. That it was a bad pick.
I wouldn't have picked him. Well, I mean, looking back on it, I wish they hadn't picked. I would have picked him, but looking back on it, I wish they should. They should have listened to Elton Brand when Elton Brand wanted to trade fucking Ben Simmons.
Sure, that's fine, but that's not the draft pick.
Yeah,
that's the player a couple years later.
I don't know. Well, I want to read just a little bit of this. Did you see TJ McConnell wrote a Players Tribune article?
No.
Yeah. So, look, I mean, the fact that TJ McConnell is writing Players Tribune articles after his team goes to the fucking finals is such a mindfuck. And I'm very happy for him. But he told a funny story. He says, so I'm a 6'1" white guy in his mid-30s. In other words, I'm not exactly stopping traffic as an NBA player that people recognize. And that's just me on a normal day. You can imagine on a day when I'm wearing a hat, I'm almost definitely not getting recognized. And during COVID, when you added a mask to the mix, forget it. I was pretty much fully anonymous. All that is to say, this is not Tyrese's fault, but on Halliburton. But on his first day in Indy after he got traded, as he's walking through the facility, he and I crossed paths. I've got my hat on. I've got my mask up. I'm chilling. I'm not even thinking about that, though. So, of course, I go up to him real excited, and I'm like, Tyrese, what's up, brother? How are you? Bro, welcome to Indy. He did not know who I was. He was very friendly, but 1,000% thought I was some guy who works on the business side.
That's crazy. I actually don't even believe that, honestly. Because Halliburton's a sicko. Like, I don't believe that he wouldn't know who TJ was. I don't believe that he wouldn't know. On. I don't believe that he would know who TJ was. Well, I guess maybe mask. Yeah. Was the mask was on at this point?
He said mask was on.
Okay. Yeah. All right, that's fine. That's understandable.
The Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast brought to you by Ethos Support. So this is funny. I told that story about the bad customer support I got for the rug. And now we've gotten a few emails of bad customer support stories. Mm-hmm. We got this one from Bill. He says, after hearing about Spike's rug and his revilement of bad customer service, I had to share my recent horror story. We had a small family party for my son's second birthday, maybe 7 or 8 people. We were at Buffalo Wild Wings to feed everyone, like 4 dozen wings and fries, not a crazy order. I ran out to pick it up, got home, realized they gave me 2 types of boneless wings and forgot the fries. I took pics of what they gave me, drove back with the receipt, and said, hey, not sure if you gave me the wrong order, but can I get the correct one? And the manager came out and asked, did you bring back the wrong food? I said, no, but I figured you just have to throw it out anyway. He asked, well, what if the people who were supposed to get it came in? And I said, are you going to give them a customer's cold food that's been sitting at my house? Long story short, they made me go back to my house and get the incorrect order.
Oh, no.
Before they gave me the food I paid for. I was livid, missed like 90 minutes of my son's party. They gave me a $10 gift certificate for my trouble, which expired a month later. Fuck them.
That's bad, dude.
See?
That's bad.
You don't want bad customer support, and it doesn't have to be as bad as that. It could just be 10 o'clock at night when you could have, a good chat person there or on social or answering email or answering the phone, and you don't have it, and your customer's having a problem and you can't solve that problem. And there's 2 ways this can go. It can go like it went with Bill. It could fucking suck and they could swear you off forever. Or it could be one of those things where your customer support solves the problem right away and they love you forever. Ethos Support can help your customer support be the latter. And I know you're saying, well, I don't even have anybody. That's what they do. They'll put together a customer support team for you in 2 weeks, no contract. So you don't like the service, it'll be done, and it'll be customer support that people will brag about. think about all the times you call up for customer support and you're hitting 555 just to get to an agent, just to get to talk to somebody. You don't want to be that. You want to be the customer support that solves the problem right away. That's what Blair and Ethos Support can do. Text or call Blair. This is his cell number. He runs the company, 240-593-2485. That is 240-593-2485, or go to ethossupport.com/Ricky. No contract. Not happy, you just walk away. 2 weeks or less, customer support that people will brag about. Again, ethossupport.com/Ricky, or call or text Blair at 240-593-2485. There's another part of the TJ article where he's just talking about how much the experience in Indiana means to him, and like that they're not done yet. And I know Tyrese is hurt and blah, 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 and so on and so forth. And it just, it struck me two ways. One, I'm very, very happy for him that he had that experience, because TJ was always really good to us and is a good player. But boy, is it fucking painful to see it happening somewhere other than here. You know, just sucks.
No, I mean, good for him, dude.
Yeah,
good for him, man. The cool thing, he's part of this. Halliburton's a very big part of it, and maybe you could say Carlisle, probably a couple other people, but the Pacers having an identity and like a core belief system in a way that these Sixers teams have never had. There's not like we get punched in the mouth and we know, like, we got this. We're going to right the ship. We're going to bounce back. We're down 12. It's 4 in a second. Like, there's never been that case. The part of that is Joel leadership. Part of that is, you know, probably Harden stuff, Simmons stuff, etc. But, like, the Pacers kept surviving and coming back and bouncing back in a way that you can just tell when this, like, that Sixers Celtics series,
that's the one,
was
man.
So bad. Game 6.
The one.
Game 6 was bad. Game 7 was as embarrassing as of anything I've ever seen in my life.
PJ Tucker's the only guy who showed up in Game 7. He's the only guy who showed up. It's unbelievable. I just
wonder, it's just bad. The organization has been adrift and like gutless for too long. And everyone just like pointing fingers, and it's probably just like never going to get fixed. Like, there's so many things that are alluded to in that article, in Dotun's article on ESPN, which if you haven't read it yet, if you didn't listen to the last pod, we talked to Dotun Akintoye from ESPN, who wrote the Joel article. You should read it. It is a great article. You should listen to the podcast. I thought it was a great interview. I had a really good time talking to him. But there's so many things alluded to in that article about the team then, the team now, the medical staff then, the medical staff now, that are just problems that everyone is sort of pointing at other people to assume they will fix, or at least deflect blame off of themselves. And there's just something holistic that needs to happen to this team. And maybe Joel will never be able to be a good enough leader, or obviously be healthy enough to get there. But the stuff you look at you look at the Pacers, and obviously they didn't win a championship. They got there. They played their asses off. They had a shot in Game 7, and their best player tore his Achilles. And for so many reasons right now, you can't see the Sixers doing anything like that. From organizationally, every part of the way. Maybe it's changing. Maxey, McCain, Edgecombe, a couple of their more high character guys around that try hard, that work hard. But it's just like, damn. I'm happy for TJ that he's a part of that, and that he's contributing to it in a real way.
Well, and by the way, I said on the last pod, and I truly mean it, and I'm not, this isn't bummer thing. This is actually just like reality. Like, between the PG injury and the Embiid article, like, I have no expectations for the Sixers this year beyond watching the younger players get better. If it happens, it'll be nice. I will certainly be in on it. But it feels honestly a little insane to expect.
Well, that's for sure.
Anything, yeah.
And I'm still showing up.
Okay.
Punching my insane clock. Getting paid for
overtime.
I'm getting overtime for
You're
my
clocking a lot of
insanity
overtime,
for sure.
man.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah.
I do think. Remember when I said that nobody's talking about the Sixers?
Yes.
We should have kept it that way. We shouldn't have. I wasn't
nobody's
objecting
talking
to
about the Sixers, and then the Dotun article came out.
Dotun, Paul George injury.
Yeah.
People reacting to that article is like, oh, there's no timeline for Joel. That's bad. I think that is the good part of it. Like, to me, that is Joel is taking the summer off and resting and not like feeling crazy compelled to be like set to some timeline. I think to me, it's just like, listen to your body, play when you can play. If he doesn't look, last season was a real demonstration of how bad it can get. He has to be himself. Last season, at no point was he ever like Joel Embiid.
Maybe the Boston game, maybe.
Sure.
Yeah, but yes, it was
no stretches of oh, this is what I'm talking about. Like a couple games here and there. I'm not. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's just like he's got to be at or near like real playing shape and not just like get on out there. I think the frustrating thing, and this is sort of going back to the MOC point that we were talking about earlier, but like, and these are mistakes from last year. These are mistakes that Daryl and Elton and hopefully Nurse are learning from and hoping that it's not too late, that there is another like a little bit more magical years left for Joel. That's just a hope. That's just me hoping it. 5 players on this primary roster, are too old to count on. Joel's one of them. Paul George is one of them. And it's like you deal with that because of the upside. But there being 3 additional guys on this roster that under no circumstances do you want to see in the playoffs. It just feels like a waste of resources. And again, that was last year, although they did re-sign Kyle Lowry, which kills me. Nothing against Kyle. Love Kyle. Love Kyle's career, but he is 1,000 years old. And that's just like, what are we doing here? Like, if you don't need anyone. Embiid and Paul George can be the oldest and least athletic players on your team. Like, that should be the case. If you have them at this stage,
he's not that old. He's spiritually old.
Sure,
he's 31. He's not that old. You know.
At this point, you are like, you just don't need anyone more banged up than them, like tread on their tires than them, all that stuff. And the fact that they got like 3, like it just feels like a very like antiquated thing to do, to be like, we got these rugged vets that are going to come in and like stability. And it's like, these 3 guys are they could fucking pass out on the court. They're just like not going to help. They're not going to help. And it's like, you wish that instead of them, you had some people that could get better. Those are 5 guys who aren't going to get better. Like 100%. 5 guys that are not going to get better. Paul George may have a better season. Joel hopefully will have a more healthy season. But those are 5 guys who are not going to get materially better anymore. They're crash landing. And you wish that you see the upside with Joel and Paul George, obviously. And we're hoping that they're healthy and we're hoping that they're better and they hit shots and all that good stuff. But the fact that there's 3 other guys that are like, you got to like rub some motor oil on all of them to like get them out of bed. Like, you just don't, it just give me some young guys that are capable of improving. And they're just not there.
like the Tin Man.
Yeah.
Like, you know, yeah. Put a little oil in the joints.
Yeah.
The Rights to Ricky Sanchez podcast presented by Draftkings Sportsbook. Oh, dude, I had never, until we talked about it last time, and Draftkings, you can bet baseball, right? It's summer, whatever. Dude, baseball is, especially when you are in the stadium, baseball is, I am convinced, the best sport to bet because of the pace of it, because of the number of things like betting on the next batter, what he's going to do, home run props, that kind of shit. Baseball is fun. And for a long season where the games, you know, individually don't mean that much, even though the Phillies stress me out, DraftKings Sportsbook, that's where you want to do it. Go to, if you download the app and you've never done it before, you're a new customer, you bet $5, you get $150 in bonus bets instantly with code RTRS. Phils are plus 850 to win the World Series. They're fourth. Dodgers at plus 280. Dodgers not playing particularly well. Yankees at plus 700. Yankees not playing particularly well. Tigers 750 and the Phillies 850. Where the fuck are the Brewers? Plus 1600? Feels like it's not bad. Not bad odds to go get the fucking Brewers. How are you feeling about the Phils, by the way, while we're doing this?
Could really use... I'm not trading legitimate prospects for a rental reliever.
Well, but what about a reliever? There's some relievers like the guy in Baltimore and Class A. You have 2 years on him left after this year. I
have a real objection to this. Is like just I object to not developing your own relievers.
Yeah,
like that should be an easy thing. And I think because of the upside of starters, they try to ride with guys for too long to make them starters when they don't have the control or the health to
Bautista on the Orioles. I'm sorry.
So there's guys in the minor league system that I wished they had just made into relievers like earlier on instead of like trying to fruitlessly to make them into starters.
They need a guy though. That bullpen sucks.
Well, Alvarado's going to be back for at least some of the rest of the season. Obviously, he can't play in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And they go get Dave Robertson.
He's 40. You just got done fucking railing our old guys.
I'm not thrilled about it. I like that they didn't have to trade any prospects for him. And then you're gonna have 1 to 2 of these starting pitchers in the pen in the playoffs. So to me, it's a bigger issue is like how bad the outfield is. And so give me if you're gonna go get somebody, like go get a legitimate left fielder.
Well, there's a rumor they're talking about Steve Kwan and Clase from the Guardians.
I like a pair like that. If you're gonna go get somebody that
Kwan,
you add a reliever to it, but like I need an outfield bat that actually like knows what they're doing.
Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code RTRS. That is code RTRS. New customers get $150 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5. Only at DraftKings. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Got to be 21. See show notes for details. And this email from David, writes RickySanchez@gmail.com. Was listening to WIP yesterday when you guys were discussing the Embiid article and then immediately had a debate an Eagles fan who felt Hurts was better than Joe Burrow because he, quote, knows how to win. That is every day of my life. It kind of struck me that Hurts and Embiid are mirror images of each other. Embiid is a wildly talented athlete, but clearly lacks the constitution to be the beating heart of a championship team. And Hurts is basically the opposite, a flawed athlete, but has the intangibles to credibly lead a high-performing team. The comparison is so interesting to me because of the similarities of their story. Both are introverts who are at times criticized for not being more vocal leaders, clearly not an archetype built for the Philly market, and both suffered setbacks earlier in their careers. But whereas Hurts evolved as a player and a leader, Embiid never really did. All of which makes me wonder how much of Embiid's story is driven by nature versus nurture. If Embiid had grown up in a family that loved basketball, was drafted to an organization like the Eagles, which is incredibly well run, would his story be any different? Or is this just who Embiid was always going to be? I do think the one thing is interesting that is the same about them is that neither one of them are vocal leaders. Neither one of them seem particularly close to many of their teammates. They both seem a little closed off. I would say, though, that Hurts seems obsessed with working. And they actually, I guess, are obsessed with proving people wrong. It's just Hurts seems like he has a different motor to do those sorts of things. What do you think of the Was Embiid always going to end up this way, or a situation made it worse?
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of insight in the article into how he was raised, how he responded to how he was raised throughout his like teenage years and into coming to America and being drafted by the Sixers. I don't want to speculate really about that side of things, but it would have been nice if the Sixers were a better organization, or like that would have been great. And that's sort of baffling to me. Like the owners have been here a long ass time, right? They now own several sports teams. Like you would think that more things would be figured out. You would think that they would be better at this stuff, and they'd be like, we are owners of 3 separate franchises, soon to be 4 with the new Philly WNBA team. And I guess it's 5 with Crystal Palace. Right? Soccer?
WNBA, Crystal Palace, Commanders, Sixers,
Devils.
And then WNBA team. Yeah, it's 5.
I wish they owned one fewer team and put more money into them to like have the best medical staff in the league. Just like decide.
Are we
just like
really
decide
doing
to
the
have the
medical
best
staff thing? These guys use their own fucking doctors. Like,
but do they use their own fucking doctors because the Sixers have a bad?
Whatever.
I'm waiting for the like. Here's what's gone wrong for the last 10 years within Sixers medical staff world article to drop. I'm not the person to do it. You hear whispers of stuff. I want somebody to take that baton and actually like do a ton of digging, talk to everybody, and be like, here's what should have happened. Here's what they do differently from other teams. To your point, I don't know exactly how it should be run, but you hear people complain about shit, and you're like, yeah, I wish it was better. But I'm not there. I don't know. But I'm saying I wish somebody wrote that article and we really knew like, okay, here's why things are as flawed as they are and have been.
It's funny you mentioned that. We did get this email from Mike, not you, a different Mike. He said, in all the years of bizarre injury reporting related to the Sixers, the one name that seems to seldom come up when determining who is to blame is head athletic trainer Kevin Johnson. Johnson has been with the team since 2003.
It feels like longer.
And has been the one constant across multiple ownership groups, front office staffs, coaches, and rosters. He has overseen the recoveries of some of the most unusual cases in league history, from Fultz's thoracic outlet syndrome to Embiid's countless maladies to now VJ Edgecombe's ever-traveling thumb wrist injury. Yet I almost never hear Kevin Johnson's name brought up, including in the last podcast when you guys were dissecting Morey's quotes about the VJ injury. My question is, who does Kevin Johnson have pictures of that would justify keeping his job for the past 22 years of injury-related reporting incompetency? Well, I don't think it's Kevin Johnson's job to tell the press what the injuries are. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't even know what the head athletic trainer's job does. Like, I don't know if all he's doing is like fucking putting icy hot on guys, hammies when they're burning. I have no idea.
Been here a long ass time.
Yeah, he has.
And has been around for a lot of bad stuff. So I don't know. I don't know who to blame. There's probably anybody that's been with the Sixers organization that long. He's not the only one. I'm just like, what are you doing here?
What are you still doing here?
What are you doing here? Go just like change of scenery. Players get change of scenery all the time. Didn't we just like, I think just there's too many bad. You just went on a juice cleanse, right?
Not a juice cleanse, but a fast, yeah.
You need to just like get some of the bad stuff out of the system. Give me some new stuff.
Fast.
Flush it out. Somebody. I don't know.
I'm going to go back to something earlier in the pod here, and I just have to challenge you on this because I don't understand it. I don't understand you and Mike saying that Tyrese Maxey was the obvious pick when before Tyrese Maxey, is it Kira Lewis Jr. or Kyra? Kyra Lewis Jr., Aaron Nesmith, Cole Anthony, Isaiah Stewart, Poku, Josh Green, Sadiq Bey, Precious Achua.
It's a good pick. Those teams
but it would have been obvious for all those fucking teams to take him.
Well, so there wasn't a March Madness. It was 2020.
Yes, but
so there was
they're all
weirdness
playing in the same rules. He
for
was
sure.
taken 21st.
It was but you can understand and accept the idea of like in a draft, the Eagles do this all the time. Oh, this guy's dropping for whatever reason. we'll just take the guy that is dropping. I'm not saying it's not smart. I'm not saying it's not the right pick. It certainly was. It was just not like we've unearthed a gem like out of nowhere. We took a ballsy pick. It's good. I'm just saying it's when you're looking for like, give me the like savvy one move ahead moves. The Maxey one is a little bit like, yeah, they took the guy that was like a highly recruited player that goes to a weird system in Kentucky that sort of devalues those kinds of players. And then in a COVID year when he didn't get to have any March moments, it was the right pick. I'm happy they took him. I had him very high on my board. I like the pick. It just wasn't like a brilliant out of nowhere thing. And I think when you get a glamour GM like Daryl, you're like expecting like, okay, give me something. Show me what's got under them sleeves, Daryl. Show me some magic man. And he's just sort of like doing the normal stuff. And it's not all his fault. If Embiid is healthy, maybe this all had worked out. But because it's been as bad as it's been, because they were gutless against Boston, because they got beat in an embarrassing low athleticism, low 50-50 balls, low motor series against the Knicks. And then they have one of the worst, most embarrassing seasons in sports history in last year.
Show me some magic, man.
Show me some magic.
Show me
some magic.
Magic man. All right. Well,
Jared Butler signs with the Suns.
Who signed with Jared Butler?
Gone. Wasn't going to come back anyway, but
no,
he's a good player.
Would have rather had him than Kyle Lowry.
I would have rather had him than Kyle Lowry. Yeah, for sure.
Well, it's August. If you got any ideas, we're here.
It's August, babe.
Yep. We will talk to you next time. Are you done with TTP?
Yeah. You know, like face.